Hello, hello. I'm Bonnie Low-Kramen, and I want to welcome everyone to Heads Together. It is a lovely Wednesday today, and hi, Jen Wilner, coming to
Hi,
us from New
Bonnie.
Jersey.
Chilly Jersey.
Yeah, right. So we're having a funny conversation prior to going live today about figuring out weather on your phone. Tell us about tell the audience what we were talking about.
So we were talking about how we went to our first concert as a couple last weekend.
Since the pandemic.
Since the pandemic,
Yeah.
yes. Since the
Not
pandemic.
like ever.
Not ever, no. So, family called me from out of state to say, hey, I know you're going out. You might want to check the weather and batten down the hatches. I said, thanks so much. But Bonnie told me about AccuWeather. And I knew exactly what was going to happen when we walked out at the State Theater at like 10 o'clock. And I said, 50-mile-an-hour winds, hon. Get ready.
Yeah.
And it was
perfect. Robert was the first person to tell me about AccuWeather, the app on my phone. And during the pandemic, AccuWeather also had like the latest COVID numbers in different parts of the world and the United States. And welcome, Joy, and hi, Lynn. And Lynn, you're working. Fantastic. Feel free to put in the chat where you're working. We love that. We love knowing that. So you might remember that I told the story several weeks back when we did the memorial for Olympia Dukakis in New York City and how it rained the entire time. Well, I checked AccuWeather and man, oh man, was it accurate. It called it. It said, rain was going to start at 6 o'clock, and it did like clockwork. It's like, here it comes.
right.
And then it said it was going to go till 8:40, and it did. So I'm a big fan of AccuWeather.
Mm-hmm.
And since and Lynn and Joy and everyone else joining, you're welcome to put in your favorite apps and resources. Parsons Concrete.
Fantastic.
Well, good for you, Lynn. And welcome, Sharon, to our program, where for the few minutes we're talking about favorite apps and resources. AccuWeather is one of Jen's favorites and mine too. I learned about a product the other night that I want to share with everybody. And I told Jen about it today on our meeting call, and she went crazy. It's going to be one of the hottest gifts for Hanukkah and Christmas and birthdays this year. It is moonultra.com, right? Right, Jen?
Yep.
Moonultra.com. It is a light for your phone that it attaches like a paper clip onto your phone. And they're coming out with the second version of it very soon. We were talking to the founder of the company, and it's really easily adjustable. The next version of it, the price point is what, Jen?
$79 USD.
Yeah. So it's not super inexpensive, but it's not crazy expensive either. But it's specifically for if you, this guy loves doing, in fact, he invented it because he likes doing food photos inside restaurants.
Yeah.
And then to do like outdoor shots. And so when you're outside, it's, lighting is so important, as Olympia Dukakis taught me for years. And so this light attaches, moonultra.com attaches to your phone, and you can adjust the level of lighting. It was a super cool demo. You'd probably want, if you're interested at all, you should go to the website. But everybody who was hearing about it was like going crazy. Like, oh my gosh, so they're definitely going to be getting that this year. Yeah. What's Claudia saying? Hi, Claudia.
I use their radar on the golf course. Hi, Becky.
Robert's definitely, and he's on the golf course right now. Hi, Kate. Welcome to the show from New York City. Feel free to put into the chat your favorite apps and resources that you can't live without. At part of B2A, any of you who have taken Be the Ultimate Assistant knows that that's a segment in our class where we share favorite apps and resources, because my belief always is, let's share the wealth. Like, why shouldn't we all be loving, and knowing what Moon Ultra is versus just some of us? Lucy Taylor, welcome from the UK. Love to know what some of your favorite apps and resources are. So while you're doing that, I'm just so excited to always have listeners and viewers from all over the world joining us. Jen, isn't that fun?
Yeah, I was just excited. Brenda's here. Hi, Brenda.
Oh, Brenda Rogers from Dallas, Texas, and Megan Coffee. Feels like this is, it always to me feels like this is a party that we're hosting and none of us has to cook. Although I know Brenda Rogers probably would like to cook because she's our resident foodie. Lynn likes Gas Buddy to find the least expensive gas prices in the area. You didn't know about that one, Jen?
I didn't know. I know it's shocking.
Well, you have a husband who has a limo company, so I would think your husband probably knows about that.
Probably.
So I had a brainstorm in the last few days, as I'm known to do. Those of you who know me know that happens from time to time. I think anybody who knows me knows that I'm working on a new book, and it's going to be coming out in 2022. And part of the main focus of the book is to bring together the stakeholders of our workplace, the different people of our workplace, which I call them constituencies. Assistants, certainly, of which we have so many on the call today. And welcome, Marion Freund. I saw that you joined us, and Karam. Karam is going to be with us out in Colorado Springs next week. Yay! And we're sold out for that class. So the workplace is comprised of different groups of people, isn't it? It's comprised certainly of assistants, major assistants. It's a huge group of people. Lucy Brazier and her team have helped us calculate that if you added up all the assistants and administrative roles in the world, we're in the neighborhood of 500 million people. In the United States, there are 16.6 million assistants in the United States. So we've got assistants. We certainly have leaders and executives / managers / supervisors, those folks, right? From CEOs on down. We have our HR professionals, yes? So they are a third group, big group of people as a constituency in the workplace. We have recruiters, external and internal recruiters who are in charge of staffing the roles in our companies. And so that's 4 groups of people. But I also consider another big group of people as a constituency in our workplace, and those are the educators. Those are the trainers. They are stakeholders in this workplace, including the business school professors who are training the eventual leaders. So I hope you're following me. Those are the 5 constituencies of the workplace. And they're all going to be represented in the book. And so I decided to create a brand new open LinkedIn group for those 5 constituencies. So Jen, could you put up the graphic that is like fresh off the presses? You all here at Heads Together are seeing this first, that I've created this new LinkedIn group, which is open. You can go to it right now because Jen is going to put the link in the chat. I am calling it Ultimate Workplace, a group for the builders and the believers. And would love to know your feeling about that and your impression. It is on LinkedIn. I manage 3 groups on LinkedIn. One is for our B2A alumni, which is a closed group. I have an open group for assistants, Be the Ultimate Assistant. So it's specifically for assistants and administrative professionals. And this third group that I'm now leading, Ultimate Workplace, a group for the builders and the believers. And yes, Marion, it is up and running right this minute. Jen is putting the link in the chat, and it is meant to have and encourage conversation between all 5 of these constituencies. And Jen, you can keep this up on the slide, up on the screen a little bit longer. Okay. Marion's giving us a thumbs up. I'm glad about that. The builders are each of you. The builders are the people who are actually in the trenches, boots or high heels on the ground, working every single day to make things turn. You all are the builders, and I hope you're all the believers too. I'm hoping that this group attracts professionals in our workplace who believe that we can do things better, who believe that we can build an ultimate workplace, that we can fix what's broken. And part of that, I hope, will be things like the global skills matrix that we talked about last week, which is like the new development to provide structure to the administrative staff. Marion already registered. Yeah, why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? So my goal is to invite each and every one of you, if you view yourselves as a builder and a believer, you know that these LinkedIn groups, no money, it is simply another email that you would be getting if you decide to follow it. I hope you also, when you find value, not if, but when you find value in the group, that you'll share it with your leaders, with your HR professionals, with your recruiters, and with educators, with people who have a stake. There's that term, it's very hot right now, the term stakeholder capitalism. The stakeholders in our workplace are those of us who have a stake in what is happening, what is being built, what has changed, and what needs fixing. Because my gosh, we have talked at length on this show and many other shows about the ways in which the pandemic has altered the workplace and has revealed the gaps, revealed what's broken, revealed what needs fixing. Things like onboarding systems, yes, compensation, schedules, meaning, we've talked about, is there going to be a 4-day work week, and what's going to happen with this hybrid workplace, and what's going to happen to all of this corporate rental space in major cities around the United States and the world, And you'll notice on the slide, the image we chose to use, Jen and I, Jen and me, Jen and I, that I mean for it to be international. We've got, Lucy, you're here from the UK, and I think we have people from other countries here. I envision this to be an international conversation. The world has become a really small place. And that through shows like this, Heads Together, we can bring together people who are thousands of miles apart, which is so fabulous, through the magic of StreamYard. And, right now we're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all at the same time. So I'm envisioning professionals from those 5 constituencies from all countries. To be fair, English-speaking countries, because I'm just a teensy bit fluent in Spanish, but I don't profess to be able to speak cogently in Spanish. So this is going to continue to be in English, at least for the time being. My hope is that you will involve other people from the other constituencies. What I see is we're only going to be able to fix what's broken if we have really substantive conversations between the 5 groups of people that I think all of us who come from the assistant world on this call know that usually, things happen from the top down, that no real change is possible without involvement from our leaders. And therefore, we need to have them in the conversation. I'm talking to as many as I can possibly get to. And so this is at the baby stages right now. Marion, you might be, in the first 20 folks to go on. Terry, hey, Terry Mullen, I hope you're feeling better. I know you just had some surgery lately and it was a big success. Terry, welcome to the show. And we're talking about a brand new group on LinkedIn. that I created just in the last few days, and Jen helped me create this graphic today. And we're calling it Ultimate Workplace, a group for the builders and the believers, of which I know you are one. We are seeking professionals who are leaders and assistants and HR professionals and recruiters and educators to bring them together to have a conversation about what's really happening and to get the different points of view on the different initiatives that are happening in the workplace. I know it's a big effort, and I have to say I'm not sure there's other groups quite like this, but this is what I'm thinking about, and I hope you will join. Hi, Victoria Galucci, welcome to the show, and please join this group. Jen, if you could, Jen, I know you put the link in the chat again. That's awesome. I'm interested in hearing from each of the groups, and each of you. You're the first ones to hear about this publicly. So I'm very interested in your comments in the chat and your thoughts on the value of bringing together these 5 groups of people. Thanks, Beth. Beth Tucker just joined. Fantastic. I hope that, we posted the post about the TEDx event that I've been asked to do on January 22nd in New Jersey. I just got the word that as a speaker, I'm just given 1 seat. So it's not that I can invite all of my New Jersey folks, but hopefully it will be streamed live. So on that group, on the Ultimate Workplace group, we posted about TEDx. We also posted about the free webinar that's happening this Friday, November 5th. Hopefully you read about that on LinkedIn, about the Global Skills Matrix that Lucy Brazier from the UK and Lucy Chamberlain, who is a recruiter in the UK, the 3 of us are going to have a conversation this Friday from 10 a.m. to 11:15 Eastern time. So you'll have to do the calculation if you're in another part of the country, Marion Freund, to decide, if you can sit in live. We will be recording it. We're going to be posting things that, things that I'm working on, things that I'm writing, but things that other people are writing. It's an open group. So my hope is that you will contribute your thoughts. And I know, Marion, for example, you have an article that's going to be published in Executive Support Magazine. After it publishes, this group would be a really great place for you to post that article. And so, good. Terry, you just joined. I hope that you will share the link with people from those other constituencies so that we can have a meaningful conversation and understand what leaders are saying about that and what HR thinks about any particular thing. Jen and I often check out, the stats on my website. And Jen, do you recall, like today when we went on, you can take this down for a sec, the graphic. Sure. What are the top 2 articles that keep coming up as the most popular on my website?
About being a CEO for a day.
Yeah. What would the article that I wrote, what would you do if you were CEO for a day? That is consistently my most popular blog post, right?
Yeah.
And then I remembered the other one. Do you remember the other one? The second one? The one about the 31 things?
Oh, 31 things you could ask an assistant to do. Yeah.
Right. And the tagline to that is, and a few you shouldn't.
And a few you shouldn't. Definitely shouldn't.
Yeah. So, and Denise Buckelman, I think you can just join the group, right? Or Jen?
They have to be approved. So.
Okay. So Jen is going to go in and approve those. Bam, 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 bam. So let's do this. Let's have that conversation. So my point about those 2 articles that are so popular, it's so interesting that those are the popular ones.
Mhm.
That theoretically leaders want to know, what does staff think about, if you were CEO for a day, what would you do? What things would you initiate at your company? And the 31 things that you can ask an assistant to do, but a few you shouldn't. That tells me that there's a hunger for some cross-pollination here, for some meeting of the minds, where next week we're in Colorado Springs for Be the Ultimate Assistant. And it's not something I do at all BTUAs. And by the way, next week is number 50, BTUA number 50. So it's super exciting that Vicki Evans and I have done this. This will be our 50th time doing this. And now it's a 3-day experience. But on day 2, we're doing the segment that I like to do a lot, called Pulling Back the Curtain, where I interview an executive with their assistant. And it's a way for our students to see in real time the partnership between them. And that's a version of what we're talking about with this group, is that, wouldn't it be great to hear what they both think about a singular thing, about a mistake that happened, for example,
Absolutely.
Yeah, Victoria, it's amazing. Yeah, you were in on like the 40th or something. We were in New York City. Megan has a comment.
Yay. Megan says, my new CEO is great. She's so independent, and I love when she asks me to do things and trusts me with them. We're learning together what works for us. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
So
Megan.
thank you, Megan, and congratulations to you. I mean, if you're so inclined, you might share the group with your leader and with your HR folks, as you see the kind of content. And here's the thing, I invite you to post comments and questions on the group, in the group, so that you're not only getting feedback from fellow assistants, but you're getting feedback from someone in HR, someone, who is a manager, someone who's a recruiter. I really think the time has come for us to solve a particular problem that we have, which is the one of when assistants will say things like, my job description that I was hired to do bears very little resemblance to what I'm actually doing. Yeah. And when we say that in classes, there are tons of nodding heads. And so there's a disconnect, isn't there, between the documentation and the reality. So wouldn't it be valuable, finally, how about we have a conversation about that with HR people and with recruiters, because recruiters only know what HR people are telling them, and where is HR getting their information from? So that is my point, is that I want to do this. I want to bridge that gap. I want to bring us together and take the risk to have a conversation that might get a little contentious, or might like, hey, I have to respectfully disagree. You'll see on the group, I've set some rules for the group, respect and professionalism. Absolutely. That's it. There will be no profanity permitted. There will be no mean-spiritedness tolerated. Healthy disagreement, absolutely. That's going to be the only way we can solve problems. It would be terribly boring if we all agreed. Megan has another comment.
Yay. Megan says, I will absolutely share. I'm constantly touting B2A. I've recently become mentoring someone who will be coming to B2A soon. I'm so excited for her. I dearly love this profession.
Megan, that's great to know. And seriously, congratulations. Lucy Taylor, I hope you're still on, and don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know you wrote that you're from the UK. What's interesting is that the job market is exploding here in the United States. and I'm getting some word out of the UK and out of Europe that that salaries are not rising as fast as they are in the United States, and that the job market is not as robust and as lively as it is here. Because like right now in the United States, the headlines are screaming resignation, the great resignation, resignation tsunami, and there's all kinds of movement in the workplace. I invite you to share with us. So can you read that, Jen?
Yeah. Lucy started a new job this week. Congratulations. Yeah. And it's a fully remote role. The onboarding process is yet to be defined. So I'm finding my feet bit by bit with my new CEO, who's only 25. So it's strange, but exciting. Baby. Wow. 25.
Yeah. And then Lucy's answering my question in the next comment. EA salaries are finally rising here, but slowly in the UK. And thanks, Lucy. I appreciate you jumping in here, me kind of calling you out. And really, congratulations on the new role. I also want to ask you, how long, if you don't mind, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but do you mind how long you were looking? Was it weeks, months? What do you feel like it was pretty easy or not so easy? And do you feel like you're being paid fairly?
Right.
Hopefully so. Not going to ask you to put the number, but just paid fairly. Please know that this Friday in the webinar, in the free webinar that I'm doing with Lucy Brazier and Lucy Chamberlain, which Jen, if you can put that in the chat again, please. We will be talking about the difference between the job market in the UK and in the United States and what's happening there. So Lucy, you were looking for about 4 months. Okay. Yes. So hopefully you were in a situation where you could be picky and that you could, because, most of the assistants who come to BTUA, and I'm sure the ones who are here, of course they want you. I hope that, our students, you all are deciding what is it about the job offer that is appealing to you and why do you want them? Yes, I'm paid fairly, especially for a fully remote role. Fantastic. That's awesome. What we're hearing in the United States is that that there is increasingly a request for assistants to go in at least 2 or 3 days a week. And that it's interesting how some assistants want 100% remote role and others really would prefer to go in. So there's all kinds of movement about this. And you know what, Jen, if you could put up that graphic one more time.
Yeah.
For those of you who might be just joining, I created a new LinkedIn group. It is open. It is free, and I invite you and your colleagues to join it, because what we were just discussing with Lucy Taylor of the UK about the job market in the UK versus the United States, that is exactly the kind of information that I'd love to share in this group, which is called Ultimate Workplace, a group for the builders and the believers. Assistants are welcome, leaders are welcome, HR professionals, recruiters, and educators. Could you please be a virtual army of people to share this link for those in your community who see what you see and see that there are things that need to be fixed and that would benefit from a conversation with people who are in the trenches too? I have to say, in the research for the book, I've been surprised by some of the comments that I've gotten. When people feel safe to tell you the truth, it's interesting what HR feels and what recruiters really think and what, educators in business schools really think, because, no one trained them to teach how to lead people during a pandemic, So there it is. That's our news for today. We will not be here next Wednesday because Vicki Evans and I will be in Colorado Springs teaching Be the Ultimate Assistant. So please make a note that we're taking next week off because we're can't be doing two things at once as good as we try to be. But we will be back the following Wednesday at 3 p.m. So thank you for continuing to follow us and be with us and to engage with the messy reality of this workplace. So thanks for joining us, Jen. Thank you so much for your support. And do you have something
and
to add?
I wanted to mention that if you don't know that this is live right now, the replays are published Thursday, but you can also go to Bonnie's YouTube channel and watch any of the past 62 episodes.
Can't believe we're up to 62.
62. So and while Bonnie is doing B2A with Vicki next week, there will be a replay posted next week so that you can still jump on at 3:00, but it won't be live.
And one last thing, there's another brainstorm I had. I don't know. I've just been like really never lacking for this. And I decided that I'm going to end every Heads Together show with a favorite quote. And if any of you listening have a favorite quote of your own that speaks to you, I want to know about it. Bonnie at BonnieLow-Kramen.com. Today's quote sits on my computer monitor, and it has been since the beginning of the pandemic. And it goes like this, that we can no longer wait for the storm to pass. We must learn to work in the rain. We have rain all over the world, and we're never going back to pre-March 2020. And so together we have to build something new. We have to build it. We need to believe it. And we need to get some pretty cool umbrellas to work in the rain. So, we're going to make it fun, and we're going to make it better. If we can do this well, we will make it better. So thank you so much. Kate, sorry about that. The video and audio did not match today.
Okay.
We love technology when it works.
Hopefully the replay's better.
But it's not 100%, is it? And we as assistants know that in the world. And if there's any group of people who ride with it, who go with it, who just are the definition of resilient, if you are that person, you are never not going to be employed. That's what I have to say about that.
That's the truth.
We will see you in 2 weeks after we're back from Colorado Springs, and I'm sure I'll have some great stories from you from out there. So thank you so much, and I hope to see the group growing, the Ultimate Workplace group on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.